Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the hashtag
TFR Motivation Monday
Zoom call. We are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. We are your guest hosts tonight, profiling our special guest. But before we get to him and he blows your socks off, we need to tell you about this YouTube channel we got. Tell them about that.
It's super simple. Go and search Team Freedom Reigns on YouTube so that you can, not only just subscribe, but you got to ring the bell.
You got to ring
because you got to get those notifications of every time that we upload new content for you. Because we know that you can't always be with us live, or if you're like us, which some of you may be a little crazy, but you might want to go back and rewatch this and take better notes, right? Because when we're here for the first time, we're not always prepared. But if you got a minute, go and run and get some pencil and some paper so you can take some notes tonight. But never fear, we always record these for you guys so you can go back and watch it again.
You know what I just read today? I read in a research study that people who go onto YouTube channels, subscribe to YouTube channels, are statistically more likely to win lotteries, marry that dream person, and get the promotion at work. So go onto our YouTube channel and subscribe, and then ring the bell to be notified. So true story. I read that in a research article today.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. If you didn't know yet, this is an amazing opportunity for you to go and put daily wellness on your subscription, especially if you've only been getting Protandim NRF2, which if you are, that's something we've got to have a conversation around. But adding in daily wellness for only $36 a month, the 5 to Thrive ingredients that give you the opportunity to drink your way to a healthy day, all in one application, it's the best way to do it. So make sure that all your customers know too. Not to mention, we're in business to create an income, but that comes by helping other people.
Making an impact.
Yeah, so make sure that you reach out to all of your customers. We have so many customers out there that are only using Protandim NRF2. This is a way for you to open that door to conversations about other amazing products we have to offer.
You know, the question on this, if you could improve the function of your immune system within 2 hours for less than $2 a day, would you do it? Here's your opportunity right now. I hope you will. It's awesome. Daily wellness is awesome.
Well, and you know what? Adding it onto NRF2, it's only $36. Right. So it's just barely.
I'm talking total.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Great job.
Get her done. All right, go in here. And then we've got our monthly marketing playbook, guys. So all of the announcements that we go over every single week, we do it for a reason. It's because they're important. And guess what? They're all housed in this one location for you as well. You can go to the playbook and you can see all the information on how to get someone started quickly, how to enroll someone, and have access to all of the assets needed to share information on all of our products, including the product of the month that we have right now, which is daily wellness. So make sure that you're utilizing the monthly marketing playbook.
Absolutely. And every Tuesday night, we have the flip the switch on success stories. This week is, who was it?
Pro9 Tara Wilson
bringing the house down. So yes, absolutely. You got to tune into this every Tuesday night and see how the people that have done it already or are doing it on a big scale can share with you their skill sets, their best practices, and how to make it work in this industry, specifically in our company.
Well, and not only how they've made it work, but just their personal stories on how they got started. These are amazing for your prospects. And I want you guys right now that are on here with us live, whether you're on Zoom or you're on Facebook, in the comments, just give me one word to describe Tara. Right? I mean, you don't want your prospects to miss out on her energy, right? So give me one word and how you would describe Tara Wilson, but she is going to be the presenter tomorrow night on the Success Stories webinar.
Yes. And then Saturdays, we have Success Mastery. This is over a year now. Every Saturday, Success Mastery. LifeVantage has been bringing you unbelievable just success stories and unbelievable insight into how to make this business work with a very strategic approach of first week, product education, second week, compensation plan, third week, LifeVantage Academy, and then rounding out the month with mindset every Saturday for the last year.
Yes, and I love some of these words you guys are using to describe Tara. Amazing, explosive, electrifying, powerful, absolutely, and awesome. Most definitely. She is amazing. And then on Saturday for Success Mastery, we actually have Pro9 Bert DeBroit. And then we also have Pro6 Emilio Iloilo. Let's say that 5 times fast.
Sorry,
right?
Emilio, if we mispronounced your last
seriously.
name.
And then Pro9 Dave Marquis is going to be closing up Success Mastery this week. So you don't want to miss that.
And then we have this amazing promotion incentive trip that we've got going on called Wanderlust 2021, where we are going to multiple places around the world, depending upon the market you're in, but celebrating nonetheless. And the way we do this is as a collective, sharing our story, getting people to see the information, building our businesses, and in the process, changing lives all over the world. And then we all go to a central location and we celebrate like crazy. But how do we qualify for this?
You know, there's 3 different ways to earn those points. And actually there's 4 because they've been giving us points for getting registered for events. So that's an amazing thing to take advantage of. But we either sell, we rank up, or we maintain that new rank. Selling, you have to have at least 3 points from this category. You get 1 point for every 5 new accounts you open that have at least 500 in volume with all of them added together. And each one of them has to have a minimum of 40 in volume. And you need at least 3 points from that. But it doesn't all have to happen in 1 month. It can be from now until the end of June, because qualification period goes all the way through the end of June. So if you do them all in June, that's awesome. Or if you do them all this month, that's awesome. You just got to do them. Okay. Yep. And then you've got to be a Pro 4 by the end of June to be able to qualify for this trip. So we've got to make sure that we're ranking up, right? So let's make sure that we're sharing this information, all of the amazing incentives that we have going on in the promos on the product, as well as helping our team members to reach those new ranks, and then maintaining the rank. You actually get more points for maintaining than you do for ranking up, but it's absolutely doable for every single one of us to be on this trip.
Absolutely. More is better. Yeah. And then earn your share into the pool. Unbelievable that they've carried this over and made it a fixture here at LifeVantage, because we want people to be blessed. We want people's businesses to grow. We want them to see what it feels like to have not only a profitable business that is impacting people all over the world, but also the extra income that comes from doing that. So earn your share of this 5 to 500, 5 accounts, 500 PV with a minimum of 40 each one, and take a dip in the pool.
And by the way, by earning this share of the pool, you're also earning one of those enroll points for the incentive trip. So take advantage of it, guys.
Yes.
I'm so excited for Elite Academy in July. Oh my gosh. Did you guys all see this? This personal care bundle that you can actually pre-purchase and get before they even announce it to the world. By purchasing the bundle, you'll actually get your Elite Academy ticket for free, as well as getting this amazing brush set that comes with this bundle. And they started with 2,000, but we're down to less than 400 bundles left. So your $79 registration is included in the $285 price to be able to get all of these products. And for a limited time, you can get them first. Okay. Yes. So make sure you go and get pre-registered for Elite Academy in July.
Then we've got personal care product training, how to talk about these products, what they're going to do for us when they're released to the public. And we cannot wait. Unbelievable. But we're going to, on the 29th of March, they're going to be talking about body care. On the 31st of March, they're going to be talking about our targeted care, which is, what is that?
So the targeted care is going to be the body rub and the soothing balm. And I highly recommend you guys get on this training, by the way, because it's got a special ingredient in there that when you hear it, you're going to be like, oh, but there's so many other products that have that ingredient. But the way we are using it and where it comes from on the plant is completely different. So you've absolutely got to get on this training so you can hear it from the expert.
And a little secret, it's a Nerf 2 activating ingredient.
Yeah, so amazing. And then on April 2nd, we're going to have the skincare training, which is the new facial serum. I cannot wait. Oh, no. Who of you has been looking for a serum to help you with all over your skin on your face? Me, I am so in. I am so excited for this new product. So again, you've got March 29th for body care, March 31st for targeted care, and April 2nd for skincare. And notice there is a different time on each one of these. Now, to get notifications from corporate, make sure that you text LFVN, our ticker symbol, LFVN, to 76076 to get notifications and upcoming product training information. So and then guys, down here where it says join the group, all of these trainings will be taking place on the official LifeVantage independent distributor Facebook page. Okay, that's where they will be taking place.
Yes, yes.
So
Now,
before we announce him, though, one of the slides that I forgot to put back in here is that we will have our LifeVantage overview on Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, same that channel as always. So we will be making the posts in the Facebook pages and sending an email about that too.
yes.
Now
To continue the series that we've been having, TFR Leaders, where we profile a certain leader that is making a tremendous impact in the business, tremendous impact on their team, and a tremendous impact in general. And we're going all the way out to Dover, New Hampshire for this session for Pro 5 Chris Mailhoit. Has been a dear friend for coming up. I think he just had his 9-year anniversary here at LifeVantage. He'll be able to tell you about that. But when you talk about proven leader, amazing, available person who just has a knack of being able to see this business from the inside and the outside and support a team masterfully. We couldn't think of anybody better than Chris Mailhoit to represent this. So Chris,
and his smile. Oh my gosh, just look at this smile. How can you not just love this guy? But seriously, he is someone that is so full of integrity, and he's dependable and true grit. If you want to see some true grit, look at this man right here and listen to his story. And that's where we're actually going to be starting off, is we're going to be asking him to share his story about who he is and just, you know, where he started, where he's at right now. And then we're going to get into some Q&A. But Chris, hi.
Welcome, buddy.
On. Thanks for having me, guys. I super appreciate it. And I love having the opportunity to get on to team calls, team Zooms. You know, it's just a great way to connect with the whole team all at once and get back in front of everybody. So I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. We appreciate you saying yes and just being so quick at it too. So we appreciate that so much. But would you just start out? We know your story. We know how amazing you are. We could go on and on and on, but will you share with us from your heart? It's like, who was Chris 9 years ago? Because that's what you're doing. You're celebrating your 9-year anniversary.
Yeah, this month.
Gosh. So who were you back then and who are you now and what's happened in between?
Wow. So in March of 2012, I was a part-time student going to Great Bay Community College with no idea what I was going to be when I grew up. I was also a full-time bartender. I was taking care of my dog, hanging out with my buddies, and had some direction, but not as much as I probably should have for 31 years old at that point. So what I did know, I had been in school for a few years. I'll rewind back a little bit. One big driving factor for me in life is, and Dan Mullering can relate to this if he's on here, we had the same guidance counselor. We're actually in the same homeroom in high school for 4 years, Mullering and Mailhoit side by side, right? A guidance counselor told both of us we were basically going nowhere. So it's really funny how it went down. At first, I was looking at colleges because all my friends were going to college, and I was like, I need to go to college. It's like what you do after high school, right? And I went in to go talk to him about colleges, and he looked at me. He goes, "Have you looked at your report cards and your transcripts?" He's like, "You're not going to college, dude." He's like, "You haven't tried a lick in your entire 4 years of high school. It makes you think you're going to get into a college now. You need to go pick a trade and figure out what you want to be when you grow up. You know, be a carpenter or a plumber, or, you know, do something, because it's not going to be college. You're not going to be a rocket scientist." And that really ticked me off. Dan, on the other hand, he said the exact same thing to Dan. Dan was like, "Sweet, I don't want to go to college anyways." And he went and became a roofer and started his own roofing company and did really well with it. So it just kind of goes to show you the different mindsets. But it kind of laid a hair across my bottom, if you know what I mean. And I was determined to get into school at one way somehow. I don't really know why, just because he told me I couldn't. And after 6 years of working full-time, bartending, I had a mentor who's going to law school, a good buddy of mine, and he kind of showed me the ropes and helped me get into part-time school. And I got the loans and everything. And I started taking classes. I learned one thing. This is really important. I can take 2 classes at a time max. If I take the 3rd class, I fail all 3 classes. If I take 2, I can do okay. So never do more than 2 classes. And I was slowly working my way through it, but I didn't have a lot of direction with my guidance counselors, all that stuff. So I ended up wasting a bunch of money and a bunch of time. And the best advice I got since LifeVantage was from Dr. Skip Campbell. I was talking with him one day about how I had officially a junior in college. I have 1 year left for my accounting and finance dual bachelor's degree. And I asked him, I was like, should I go back to school and finish it? He goes, how about this? He goes, why don't you go buy a really nice boat and name it Diploma, and that'll be good enough. And that's kind of my plan. I have no intention of going back to school. I learned everything I needed to get from it. And that was to be an entrepreneur. I had talked with some people while I was bartending, interviewed some of my customers, and found out that they were really happy. These two guys that own big businesses, if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, these guys were in the top right corner, in the big business section, probably investors as well. They had massive businesses, and they came down for lunch once every 2 or 3 weeks. They're old high school buddies, and they hung out and they drank all my Coors Lights, and they had pizza buffet for like 2.5 hours. They ate maybe like 6 slices of pizza, but they just hung out and chatted and all that. And I talked to them, and they're like, you got to start a business, bro. And that's what I decided to do. So I'm fortunate that LifeVantage found its way to getting in front of me, because I was looking at some other ideas to start businesses, and it would have just kept me in that same hamster wheel of working every day, kind of like you were doing, Dondi, with chiropractic. So it's been a long 9 years, but I'm really excited to be where I'm at.
That's awesome.
So cool.
I was sitting there cracking up when you said that you and Dan Mollering were sitting side by side in class for 4 years for homeroom. And I was like, oh, God bless that teacher. But seriously, we love you both so much, but we just know you've got very strong personalities. So,
but that was so Dan wasn't there very often.
Well, that also leads, though, to having that strong personality in LifeVantage or in any network marketing business, this type of business. You have to have that personality. You have to have that willingness to push through no matter what people tell you, right? Just like when you said it ticked you off that they said you couldn't go to college, or that you weren't going to be going to college. You were going to prove them wrong. It's just now, instead of having it just because you want to prove them wrong, now you're using that to go out and actually prove yourself right, that you're totally capable of doing anything that you set your mind to, and that anybody that tells you you can't truly is wrong, because you know that you can. So I just think that is such an important lesson for people to hear from your story, that if you set your mind to it, you absolutely can accomplish it. So you better be careful what you're setting your mind to.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So after celebrating 9 years with LifeVantage now, I just really want to hear from you. What are you most excited about now? Because you've been through the whole last 9 years, the ups, the downs, the massive growth, the steadiness. What are you excited about now?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be involved back in the beginning, towards the tail end of our first momentum run. So I had joined, I think, when we were right around like 100 million a year in sales, and we jumped up that next year. So we had a good 1.5 years of a run while I was still there, and I was able to capitalize on that. The excitement was in the air. People were fired up. I didn't even know what I was a bartender with very poor high school and college grades. Like, I was not any like rocket scientist. I have people on my team that blow me away with their intelligence, and you guys as well. And it's not necessarily about all these details that you can memorize. It's about the excitement and the level of excitement you can kind of transfer to somebody else. And that's how I launched my business, was raw excitement, telling all my buddies at work, at the bar, I'm doing this thing. This is going to be huge. And the line that I used all the time is, I don't care if you do this with me or not, but you need to take a quick look, because I'm going to the top in this. And I don't want you to come back to me 5 years upset that I never showed it to you. And that was like a pretty common line that I used with a lot of people. And I got a lot of eyeballs on the information through that. And I was able to get enrollments. And a big thing with that as well was that I wasn't looking for customers. I was looking for distributors. My career in LifeVantage, I've signed up not even close to the amount of customers as distributors. And it's just because that's the way I lead with conversations. And I do get customers on occasion as well, but it's because I lead with the business and I get customers by default. It's something that Dan explained to me in the very beginning, was if you lead with the business, you can get a customer, if they're not ready for the business or the timing's not right, they'll see the products and say, this is great. But if you lead with a product, it's hard to get a distributor. But the big thing that I'm really excited about is some of the new products that we have coming out. The Daily Wellness, the new line of body wash and all that stuff. I've been waiting for, I couldn't tell you how, 9 years for this body wash and deodorant and that whole line of stuff to come out, because we finally have some things that are like real replacement products for people that in the old Amway days, so like, oh, you just stop ordering all the stuff that you get or getting the stuff from the grocery store when you buy it through us. So we have the ability for people to replace products that they're already using with a much higher quality product that's, sourced more effectively and, all these things. And it's going to open up a much easier conversation than NRF2 is. So leading with obviously the business, but then the daily wellness, and people are looking for things like wellness, vitamins and, the zinc and the different stuff that's in there. We've all heard about it. I'm not going to get into the details, but people are looking for that stuff right now. But when you start telling them about cellular activation and all the stuff, it gets very confusing. So having those things to open up the conversation very naturally. And then once they start to get their interest peaked, going into some of the other stuff. Like I use Axio pretty frequently to open up conversations because people know what coffee is and they know what Red Bull is and they understand energy. So it's a very simple transition from that now to activation and life extension and all these other really exciting things. So as we ramp up, I've seen what the first part of momentum looks like. I'm really excited to be a part of the next run. And for the people on here, it's exciting. It's really cool. So I'd get out there and just start filling up your sheets. And I keep this new one every single month on my desk, and I fill it out every single day with all the people that I'm putting on there. The goal is to fill out multiple of those a month, not just one, and just keep rolling with it. But momentum is coming, so you don't want to miss that stuff.
Absolutely. Great way to put that. And it's one of the things that you've been in LifeVantage long enough to experience is the first wave when we had one product, one story, and it was great. But then eventually what happens is we get categorized into that's all we have to offer. And there's nothing more. Some people very much are turned off by a one product company because of the limitations to it. Well, then we added products to it, but they were very niche-y type products. And now to what you just said is that the next wave of LifeVantage's growth is the replacement products where you can buy from yourself, actually make money in doing so and show other people how to do it with a higher quality, cleaner, greener product. And that's where Think Dirty is going to become very, very applicable to our business model. So what are you doing to focus on and capture momentum in that next wave of LifeVantage growth?
Well, it just really comes down to talking to more people faster is really the way that you want to look at it. I was having a great conversation with Kim Jakes and some of the stuff that she'd been learning from some trainings that she'd been in. And that's why I was talking about the sheet. She had some stats that she found from Fraser Brooks, who we just had a chance to learn from at the Elite Academy. And he said he had this huge group of people that were all doing this run. I don't know exactly what he called it, but it was this big run. And he said for every, I think it was every like 100 and if you do 125 invites a month, so it's not presentations, but invites, it would yield a distributor and 4 customers or 5 customers or something like that. So whatever it was about 125. So you had to fill out 5 sheets, but it was invites, not presentations. And then through that, you would end up with enough presentations where you would find the customers and the distributors that would put you into our bonus pool magically. It just happens to match what our bonus pool is, right? So really what that comes down to is I've been actually taking less. I've always put a lot of pressure on myself to try to hit that 15 presentations a month mark. It's something we've been talking about from day one. It was in the blueprint, our old school blueprint, everything. That's what I was taught in the very beginning. But it can be stressful when you're like, I need to get off a presentation. I need to get off a presentation. And you're like almost forcing people into presentations. But if you're thinking about it as doing the invites and letting the presentations naturally come out of it, it's been a little bit easier on me to get my numbers up much higher because I can count more stuff. And when you're able to count more things, then you're able to feel better about it. Like I was talking with Sheldon yesterday about how he can get into more action in his business. And one of the things that I told him, the best thing that you can do is to do something very, very simple to kick off your work period, your power hour, or whatever you want to call it. So what I suggested to him is to do happy birthday messages. So as opposed to on Facebook sending out putting a post on somebody's wall where they're just going to go through and they like them all, and then that's the end of it, right? You can send out a message to everybody and say happy birthday, or you can take it to another level. Like I know you guys, Marcy sends out, voice messages, and you can send out video messages. So it really depends on your comfort level and the amount of time you have. But that being such a low hanging fruit, something very simple to do. If you have 5 people that have birthdays today, and you just send them 5 quick messages, at the end of that, you get that little dopamine hit and you're excited. You're like, okay, I did something. All right. Now you're excited and you'll take more action. So giving yourself like, all right, I got to do 5 minutes worth of work. And then once you get through that 5 minutes, then you can push out another half an hour to an hour because you're feeling good. You got that feel good running through your body. So those are some of the things that have really helped me personally take more action to try to capture more of this momentum because I want it.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
awesome.
That
Great.
is so good.
Yes.
Well, and I love that you mentioned Facebook and birthday messages because I do that. And it is such a great way. One of the things I've really had to focus on is making sure that I'm focusing on the people that are prospects, not the people that are already in LifeVantage. Because sometimes it's easy for us to default and spend time doing it there. So really focusing on that prospects. And I know one of the areas that you're using that is basically your social media platform is LinkedIn. So tell me, because I know that you've used Facebook and LinkedIn. I would love to hear your thoughts on why you like LinkedIn.
So I like LinkedIn. Yeah, I do like LinkedIn more than Facebook in terms of my business. They actually got mad at me and kind of throttled back my account a little bit last month, 2 months ago. So it kind of hurt me for a little bit. But that seems to have cleared up, which is nice. But the nice thing about LinkedIn is you can really target who you're trying to talk to. And on Facebook, it's more kind of willy-nilly. Like you're going off of a profile picture and the couple of things that might be available in their about section to learn anything about them. But when you're looking at LinkedIn, it's basically like looking at somebody's resume. So you can say like, Dr. Nettles is a chiropractor. So he could do really well talking with other chiropractors because they're going to look at him peer to peer. I have done really well talking to other bartenders because bartenders will look at me and say, oh, another bartender, what are you doing? What's working for you? But you can also pick, besides just narrowing it down to their professions, you can also pick regions too, which is really cool. So I'm sick of New Hampshire and New Hampshire winters. Well, let me be more specific. I'm really sick of New Hampshire winters. The summers are great, which is coming up. But I want to move to Florida or do at least spend much more time in Florida. So most of my prospecting is now in Florida. And it has been for the last 2 years. So I have a ton of connections down in Florida now, people that I've done presentations with, that I've enrolled as distributors and customers. So that's really important. And then also, I'm looking a lot more into kind of getting into like a digital nomad kind of lifestyle, maybe doing some camper trailer traveling around the country. So you can search that as well. So you can really pick on LinkedIn the different specific things that you want to target people. So not target like go hunting, but looking for people of a specific background or in a specific region of the country or the world. If we're launching a new market, a new country, you can go after that market as well, which is really cool. And then there's other platforms too that are really huge. TikTok being one of them. So a lot of us saw GoPro. I'm sure most of you guys were on GoPro. And there was a lot of talk about TikTok at GoPro. And then 2 days later, TikTok changed their terms and conditions because so many people from network marketing jumped on TikTok and started making videos about their products, which is typically what you see with new distributors on Facebook too, right? They're like, oh, check out my products, right? But that's not what you want to do on TikTok or really any platform. You want to develop a connection. You want to entertain people. You want them to be attracted to you. That's why they call it attraction marketing, right? So if you are on TikTok, which I would highly recommend, pick a niche that you really like. I don't know if you hear the cat screaming in the background. Jordan has done really well, Jordan Keto, with making cat videos because we have a bunch of cats. His girlfriend, Alyssa, fiance now, is obsessed with cats. She's a veterinarian. And he's got like 70, 80, I think maybe 90,000 followers on TikTok from making these cat videos, but it's attracted a lot of people to him. And then you have a bio section where you can put a link to, like, not Linktree anymore because they've actually restricted that link, but there's other companies you can use. So they can get into your social media from there. So it's about developing a connection with these people, finding a way for them to embrace what you're doing and what you're about. Mine's golf. I do a lot of golf stuff on there. And as they're attracted to you, as you grow your following, they're going to want to know, what else do you do? They're going to follow you on Instagram. They're going to follow you on Facebook. They're going to go to your website if you have a website, or go to your YouTube, and they'll go to other places to start following you. And you can also make money at the same time. That's the real big thing about TikTok and YouTube, is it's the only two platforms out there that you can get actual free traffic. TikTok will share your video out. If you put out a good video that goes viral, it'll send it out. I've had videos that have done 300,000 views. I had one of them that got reshared onto Instagram that did another 500,000 views. It was a big video. Think of all that engagement. You can't get that on Facebook. It's pay to play. Yeah. LinkedIn, same thing. You have to, Instagram too. You have to pay to increase your range. On TikTok and YouTube, those are the only two platforms where if you put out good content, they're going to push it out to the masses. So that's really huge too. You can grow from nobody to, 10 or 20,000 followers if you put out some good content pretty quick.
Wow. That is right there. Really is some really great nuggets that you just dropped down. I was like, go. Yeah, give me more. I'm sitting here taking notes about what we need to be implementing and doing. So that was such great stuff, Chris. Thank you so much for that. Oh my gosh.
So I have a question. You mentioned becoming more of a digital nomad kind of a situation. So the benefits of that, and being an influencer, and having the ability to literally run a business from wherever you have wherever you parked your RV, or whatever you're going to do that. How is that, and the benefits that come from that, how does it differ from somebody who goes to an employee, or as an employee goes to a certain place, they check in at a certain time, they check out at a certain time, they go to breaks and lunches at a certain time. They don't really have to discipline themselves because their time clock, or the time they're there, is their discipline. How do you recommend somebody who's looking to get out of that into a digital nomad type existence? How would you recommend they discipline themselves? Because that's one of the things that I see with entrepreneurs, is they go from employee, where their schedule is set, to entrepreneur, where they kind of struggle with setting their own calendar, being their own boss, being their own disciplinarian. How do you, or being disciplined in their own calendar? How do you do that?
So I have, you guys can see right beside me there is a whiteboard with all my stuff on it. That's my daily to-do lists that I rewrite every morning. I write it out for the day. I have to do, write down my volume, do my Facebook birthdays, do my LinkedIn messages, make a video. I have all these things that are a part of my regular DMO, and I have to check them off throughout the day. And like I was talking about with Sheldon, the easiest ones are at the top. So I can get myself, the actual easiest one is writing down my volume every day. So I have that. And once I do that, I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm kind of getting into the flow, and I start to do some more stuff. So the biggest thing is having a solid DMO and understanding what are the different things that you should be focusing on to grow your business. So some of the things that I talked about tonight, sending out birthday messages is going to be really important. If you're not on LinkedIn, getting on LinkedIn, sending out, 5 to 10 new messages a day with LinkedIn. And what I'm doing on there, it's very simple. It's, hey, Dondi, how's it going? I mean, Dondi, I know you're doing some really cool stuff on there. We talked about that, but mine's super basic, super easy for everybody. Hey, Dondi, how's it going? Great to be connected with you here on LinkedIn. I hope that 2021 is off to a good start for you. And is anything big going on? Or, always just end with a question. So just super simple, and just like, how's everything going at the end? Just very basic, simple message. And it's really just designed to start a conversation. That's really all I'm trying to do. So really the goal for me is just to have a solid DMO, a list of things that I need to do on a regular basis. And if you don't have a good list of things that you need to do to grow your business, talk to who your enroller is or their enroller to find out exactly what a good list of DMO, daily method of operation, that you could be working on. And that should help out significantly. then the whole digital nomad thing is really crazy. I actually just made a YouTube video on it. It's gonna be posted probably the next half hour. I saw a article on LinkedIn on like the suggested reading on the side, and it was, will digital nomadism take off? And it's just such a cool topic if you think about it. So for those of you who don't know, digital nomad is basically working remote and being able to travel, which is something that I think most of you guys want to do or would love to do, especially if you don't have kids anymore, they're out of the house, or you, like me, and you don't have kids. And for the first time in history, bosses are willing to let people work from home. Tim Ferriss wrote a book, 4-Hour Work Week. And in that book, he talks about all these things you have to do to trick your boss into letting you start to work remote. And it starts off with like asking him if you can do a half day working at home, and then doing like twice as much work while you're at home to prove to him that you can do it. And then finally, after months of work, being able to transition to that to being fully remote, where you can travel and do your stuff. But now they're actually looking into doing more stuff remote and letting people work from home, because think of all the money they're saving on the office spaces. You know, they had leases probably on this stuff for the last year, but those leases are going to be running out. And why would they want to pay tens of thousands of dollars a month when they can invest that into other places in their business and maybe have a smaller office that people can show up at when they have big meetings or something like that? So the idea of being a digital nomad is really cool, but it's also opening up this huge category for us to talk to people and say, hey, you know, do you want to have more freedom in your life? You know, everything is kind of going online now. You have the ability to get remote internet through Elon Musk's new Starlink system that's coming up, that's going to be available really soon, high-speed internet anywhere in the world. You know, all these different things are finally aligning with technology and with the pandemic kind of pushing it a little faster to allow people to be able to do that stuff. And it gives you an opportunity to prospect them in terms of the business. Are you interested in finding a way you can make some money so you can work remote and live your dream life, really, you know, live the vacation lifestyle? And that's what I've been kind of doing for the last few years. I've been doing it from my house. I'm looking to start doing it on the road though, kind of really getting it to be a little bit more fun. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and this pandemic situation is really, really primed the pump for that reality, is that people are out of necessity. How, like, well, our entire corporate staff at LifeVantage, they're all working remotely, and so are so many other companies. So they're now getting used to it, but they're still working, even though they're working remotely, they're still working for someone else or some other company, but they've got a taste of what it is at home. If they can now just capitalize on being home and working now for yourself or for your own interest, it's a great starting point, and people are much more open to it than even prior to COVID. It's just kind of changed our reality. Great job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So one last question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
I would like to know, what is your next goal? I'm not talking about your big goal, but what is your next goal? Because I think it's really important for people to, I mean, obviously we all have our big goals. We all have our big, hairy, audacious goals, but I think we need to have our bite-sized goals too that we're working towards so that we can celebrate. So what's your next goal, and what are you going to do when you accomplish it?
It might be a little bigger, but the incentive trip. I don't know if you want some, as I could break it down smaller and how I'm going to hit that incentive trip. But really my next goal is hitting the incentive trip. To do that, I'm going to need to hit Pro 6. And so I know where I need to go. If you guys don't know exactly, like to the number, what you need for points and rank advancements and enrollments to hit the incentive trip, I would figure that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Cabo.
Yeah.
So I won my first incentive trip. I finally won one. I went to the Bahamas a couple of years ago. And I've been on so many of these Zooms. Well, it was mostly, you know, conference calls, where for years I'm hearing people talk about how blue the water was, how warm the water was. And I was just like smashing my head against the wall at home. Like I cannot, that's why I'm lost all my hair in the top here, because I'm just like banging my head off the wall, wondering why I can't get on these incentive trips. And I finally hit one. I got a taste of it. And I have this crazy desire to hit every single one. I haven't gotten one since, but I've been trying my hardest. maybe I could try a little harder, but I'm going to be trying my hardest on this one. And it's really life changing, the experience to go somewhere. I mean, I got to go to Atlantis, paid for by corporate. Atlantis is the nicest resort in the Bahamas. It is well known internationally as like this gorgeous resort, right? Not only do they pay our way, they pick us up in buses at the airport. You're all set. You don't have to worry about anything. And then you get there and they're like, so since this isn't an all-inclusive resort, we're going to give you, it was like $100 a day of like room charge availability. So we could just like go to the bar and order drinks, or most of our meals were already like prepared for us. So you could use it for like souvenirs or really anything. It was like really getting spoiled. Like you guys don't understand if you haven't been on one of those trips. So Cabo is my next big goal. I will see you guys there. Hopefully you guys are striving for it too. I saw somebody posted in the chats asking how you find out the points. Talk to your nearest upline. Like I said before about the DMO, talk to the nearest person above you in your organization, have them help you figure it out. And if they don't know, jump up one more and one more until you find somebody that can help you walk through that. But it's not too complicated.
I love it. That was like a perfect answer. I didn't know where you would go with it, and you didn't either, because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that. But thank you. That's like the perfect. That's one of the next goals that every single one of us should have, right? And it's absolutely achievable. And just so you know, if you're looking to find out how many points you already have, your back office off to the right-hand side, there's a bunch of quick links. And one of those is the Wanderlust incentive trip. You click on that link and it's going to take you into a point tracker. So that's where you go to find out how many points you have now. But is there anything else you want to add before we just like,
Yeah.
Chris?
It's actually about that Bahamas trip, that incentive trip that you won.
It was amazing, so fun.
And it's one of the things that when you, and I'm gonna give Dr. Herbert Harris some props here. One of his favorite quotes that I hear him say is he said, "Never waste an opportunity to look good." And when you were at the Bahamas, you brought the attire, you brought the hat, you brought the look, and it was like, that dude won this trip, and it's obvious how much fun you were having. I'll never forget, just every time we ran into you, it was like, dude, you looked the part, man. That was awesome. Can't wait to see you.
That's amazing.
All the style suits and the hats and all that jazz.
It was so cool.
Yeah, if I could just share one more thing from that, just to give you guys an idea of why you want to be on these trips, beside the water being so blue and things like that, is I'm a huge golfer. If anybody knows me or is friends with me on Facebook, love golf more than anything. And there was one of the days we had the afternoon where there was some downtime. So I was hanging out with Jordan. Jordan was my date for the trip. So I brought him down there with me, going stagged everything. So he came with me and we're just chilling at one of these little restaurant bars that's just right off the causeway, kind of walking from hotel to hotel in part of Atlantis. So we're just hanging out and golf is on. So I was pumped. So we're just having a nice sapphire and tonic, watching golf. It's middle of the afternoon, beautiful day. And who walks by but Tyler Daniels and his wife. And Tyler Daniels also really, really loves golf. So he stops and he's looking up at the TV. Tasha's looking at him. She's like, let's grab a drink. So they grab a drink and they plop down right beside us. Well, she sits down and he's standing. And we get to talking and they find out we're in LifeVantage and all that. And for those of you guys who don't know Tyler Daniels, he's just like out of this world when it comes to LifeVantage and what he's accomplished. You know, one of the top dogs, Marcel's business partner, helped write the comp plan, just like super genius dude. And he hung out with us. The two of them hung out with us for about an hour and a half, just chatting and just conversations about LifeVantage, about golf and life and just all this stuff. And those are the moments that you really relish when you go to these events. It's the opportunity to sit down with literally one of our founding distributors, who's like the top of the company, and just talk about whatever for like an hour and a half, just having a drink, just casual, no big deal. Somebody that you see like at the events and you're like trying to take a picture from afar. We're just hanging out with them one-on-one. It was super cool. So that's why you guys got to get there. It's going to absolutely explode your business and your belief.
Absolutely.
Amen. Mic drop on that one. Definitely. Well, Chris, we just absolutely appreciate you and just want to thank you for saying yes to being our special guest and being the highlight TFR leader this week. We appreciate you, how you're showing up for yourself, how you're showing up for your team, and just your consistency. You absolutely will earn that trip by following that DMO that you just shared with everybody. So congratulations and thank you so very much.
Absolutely, my friend. You are just the consummate professional and just a student that never stops learning. And that is very obvious by how you show up every single time. So thank you, Chris, for being our special guest. Thank you for the absolute nuggets you drop for everybody to benefit from. And thank you for being who you are, my friend.
Give him some love in the comment section, guys. Tell him thank you. And if you got something really awesome out of what he shared, drop that in the comments too, so he can come back and he can take a look about what he shared that really touched you and influenced you. So Chris, thanks so much. We appreciate you. And guys, don't forget, we've got amazing opportunities all week long to invite people to. ITT is the way to go. It's just step 1, 2, and 3, and make sure that you get the team involved. Can't do this alone. And it's what makes it fun.
Everybody in person real soon.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Chris.
Bye, everybody.